4, 3, 2, 1. You are live.
You are live too. We are live. And we're happy about it. What's today?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yes, it is Friday. We are happy about it. Trust that you are as well. Looking forward to a great weekend. And we must listen.
Your camera's in HD.
You know what? I have done everything that I possibly could have done. It's on a gangster lean. On a gangster lean. Meanwhile,
there we go.
get this. Okay, awesome. I appreciate you for getting me right, getting me together.
Boom, that ain't going nowhere.
Okay. All right.
Oh, now I can't see. There we go.
Okay,
Ta-da.
are we in the house? There we go. All screens are in place. Let's see here. This is a happy new day with Ari J.
Yes, it is. Episode number 24. 24.
I love numbers. 24 is 6.
The power of the 6.
Okay. All right. And so it is.
What you know about 6? What's that? What's the 6 energy all about?
Everlasting.
Everlasting.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And we did promise folks, you guys, what we were going to talk about yesterday, but it flipped a little bit.
Yeah, in light of us starting the Tantra Tuesdays, and then also I was in class late last night. I just started a new program with Master Ya from our Tantra platform, and it's a very intense program. And we didn't finish till after midnight, but we had some really great information. So on top of not actually finishing the complete preparation for today's show, I also realized midway during class last night that there was a topic that really needed to be covered to really lead in properly to, the sexual dysfunction and sexual enhancement practices, especially going into the Tantra Tuesdays talk starting next week as well. And so I thought it would be better to do it, complete justice, because I can do it off the top of my head, no problem. As I know there's, forwards and backwards, but there's certain points that I wanted to really touch on to give you the best value, for your time with us. And then also it's some things that we want to talk about that rose to the surface, because we're just starting the class. And Master Ya went into this concept called the pain body and the counterfeit persona, which is a very interesting topic, because most people don't even know it exists, number one. Number two, it's probably one of the leading things that keep us from being and functioning in our highest and best selves. So, we'll touch on that a little bit and whatnot. But the overall, the big picture of the whole thing is about, having inner peace. Inner peace. What would you know about inner peace?
It's a choice. It's a decision. And it is, it starts with self. Peace is not outside of you. It's not about going to a temple or sitting in a specific space or closing your eyes. Although that can help, you have to decide for peace. And I liken it to, I call myself a perception translator. So no matter what is brought my way, I make it work. Positive. There's so much negative on the news. There's so much negative, whatever, what goes on, even health-wise and everything. And it's up to you to pick your spirits up
Yeah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And so when we talk about, inner peace, what we have internally, is represented in our outward lives.
Absolutely.
And so if you, experiencing hell, I mean, we all go through things. That's just the natural cycle of life, because you have to have the negative to really appreciate the positive. They go hand in hand, and that's what helps to catapult us or push us forward. And so, like for me, I never look at anything as a bad experience. I look at it as a learning experience. I look at it as when negative situations happen, I look at them as a guide to moving me in the direction that I need to go. And so, having inner peace has a lot to do with that. But where does that come from? The concept that Master Yah spoke on, which was the when we're talking about the pain body, is the concept of the counterfeit personalities. And what those are well, in a nutshell, counterfeit personality is almost like a defense mechanism that was created, that we self create from our youth, and it's usually dealing with our parents. It comes from a number of different sources, but primarily we'll either model what our parents, their relationship and how they function. It can be passed down, or we create this thick shell of armor and the way that we function and exist in the world, because we're trying to protect ourselves, protect our feelings, protect our emotions, protect our being. And so we create these different personalities, and to the point where that the way that we move in space these personalities become who we are, or we believe that we're the counterfeit personality, as opposed to us being the true selves and existing in our truth. And to the extent that those counterfeit personalities is basically what we're showing the world, in order to protect our inner core, to the degree that we lead with those, we'll never have inner peace. Inner peace, well, you can't, because how could you have inner peace if the inner you don't even know who the inner you is? And so, what was that concept Master Yao speaks on? It's the same. It's similar to the cowboy that's ridden across the state on a horse. And he's ridden so long on the horse that he doesn't know the difference between himself and the horse, because he's been attached to it for so long that he's just been riding, and he can't separate himself from the horse. And so the counterfeit personalities function in the same fashion. And so that's something that, we'll take a deeper dive in the future. But when we're talking about, and where, the number one place it shows up at is in the bedroom. And so that's how it kind of attaches to, there was a good lead in, to what we're, going to be discussing over the next few days when we talk about sexual dysfunction, and sexual enhancement, how to advance yourself up the actual sex value table, which is another concept that Master Yao speaks on as well. The sex value table, how to move from an immature state of being sexually into an adult level, and then even into a master level, and to really be able to be in position to be able to practice sexual alchemy at its highest point, because there's levels to it. When we talk about, most people, when they think about sex, they think of talking about it from a physical standpoint, but there's so much. I mean, the physical only touches on this much. There's a whole array of things going on in the background, in order to get to that point where you're talking about high levels of sexual alchemy, high levels of orgasmicness, And, being orgasmic, that's our natural state of being. That's not something that we have to hope to try to, technically, we should not have to ascend to being in that position, because that's who we naturally are. That's our natural makeup. But because, to the extent that the pain body exists, to the extent that we live in that pain body, to the extent that we basically live in falsehood, it's impossible to attain those high levels of being, raising ourselves up that sexual value table, and achieving what Master Yah coins as, the high level orgasm. Being able to go into orgasmic waves that last 20, 30, 40, 2 hours, 4 hours of, orgasmic, or an orgasmic wave that, that really takes you to that next level.
Yes.
And so, but to the person, the challenge people have in achieving that is because, to the extent that they live in their pain bodies, to the extent that they're detached from themselves, it's impossible to achieve it. To the extent that they live in these counterfeit personas exist, or they're leading with this, it makes it impossible for them to really maintain relationships. Yes, because the pain body, these counterfeit personas won't allow you to have a relationship that functions, that's going to a long-lasting, fulfilling relationship, because there's always going to be this position of lack, this scarcity mentality that's associated with each one. Because, like I said, those were defense mechanisms, and so that, they're based in different types of fear, each one, and so, that's something to really, take into consideration when we're talking about inner peace. Yeah, because prior to coming into this knowledge, when we're talking about a spiritual game changer, look in the mirror and see what it is that, like when Michael Jackson said, you gotta look at the man in the mirror. Yeah, that's what that whole pain body concept is about. That's what the whole counterfeit personality concept is about, and really being able to be real with yourself and see, what that looks like. Because once I came into that understanding, it opened the floodgates for me to go into and become a complete man, to open up, my different archetypes, so that, that I can be the best I can be for my mate, the best that I can be for myself, and the best that I can be for my children. Yes. And really model, what we talk about the high value man concept. When you really go, look back at, especially Master Yao's older books, it all comes from that. I mean, it's gotten watered down over the years. But, when you really want to, understand the roots of the high value man concept, it's gotten watered down to, it's all about how much money you make. It's all about how much bling you got and stuff like that. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's like the same thing when people talk about Tantra, like, oh, sex. And Kama Sutra, like, no, that's just this much. There's a whole world that comes behind that. And when you're talking about, so the high value man concept comes from, is rooted in, the master and the, divine masculine concept of being complete. And the same thing is with the woman, the master and the divine feminine. It comes from, being complete versions of ourselves so that we can be complete versions for our mates. And so, but inner peace, positive self-talk. Yes. Yeah. And so that's, if we want to just, dial it back. Yeah. Toxic masculinity. Yeah. Toxic. Yeah. Yes. Dice. I hope I'm saying your name right. Is it, Daisy? Yeah. Huh?
It's family. No, it's family.
What's her name?
I haven't heard him say it, but yeah, I haven't heard him say it.
Oh, well, it's all good. What's up, friend?
Yes.
Peace and blessings to you.
We see you.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's, yeah, so when we're talking about inner peace, the initial number one thing it starts off with is, positive self-talk. Oh, day is. Okay, cool. For real. All right, peace and blessings, brother.
Okay, I like that.
Peace. So it comes from positive self-talk. How do we frame, we have the taking control of our mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because what we think of ourselves determines how we function in this world. How we perceive everything else around us. And so if everything that we talk about or internally think about is negative, guess what's going to outwardly show? Negative. You focus on, whatever you focus on becomes stronger. Whatever you focus on becomes your reality. And so does that mean that bad things won't never happen because you're always thinking positive? No. But even when they do happen, you'll view them from a different standpoint and handle the situation much, 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 much differently. Yeah, because you attract, what it is that you focus and think about the most.
Absolutely. And even with that attraction can come on physical ailments, staying in the negative space.
Oh, yeah.
So keep yourself healthy with a healthy mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll go into the counterfeit personalities a little bit more in detail when we get to Monday. Let's see, brother. Deborah says, brother, you are so right. Mm-hmm. And once you see yourself, there's no denying in what needs to be done to be your best self. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is, a lot of folks, they live in denial. They think that their shit don't stink before they do a detox. And it really don't stink. Because it really do before that. Yeah, that's an inside joke in case you missed our detox. Why we should detox.
Everyone drink chlorophyll.
Yeah, and so, because, they, people get to, they're in denial. And the thing is, most of the time people don't even know this exists because they've been who they've been for so long or functioning in that counterfeit personality so long. They can't even see it. And to the degree, because there's different degrees of it. And once you get to a point where it's in a severe or necromancy state, usually there's nothing that you can do to fix it. Mm-hmm. Now, not only does this apply to yourself, it really applies to people when you're dating and connecting with somebody. Mm-hmm. Because if even more important than your counterfeit personality, it's theirs and identifying theirs. Because you're realizing that, you're speaking to somebody's shadows. You're speaking to the negativity that exists inside of them. You're speaking to, and so when you're connecting with somebody, if you're connecting with somebody that's in a severe or necromancy state where they can't be helped, you don't need to be with them because they're going to drive you up the wall. Yeah. Do you ever with somebody that just got like all this hate in them and whatnot? And, they seem sweet on the surface, but on the internally, they're toxic.
Yeah. Always war.
Yeah, and it shows up, in some of the most toxic relationships that you can imagine.
Gotta go.
Let's see. Charmaine says, do you think that a person can have a calling to warn people, which isn't always positive? Yeah, everything has a purpose. We all get used for, like I said, when it comes to negativity, the universe uses us in different ways. And the thing is, depending on who we are, what we came back, to this spiritual, this plane of existence to do. And so, granted, it's situations when you look at like, well, damn, how could that even, what good can come of that? You know, hell, what good can I make of it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it turns into. Yeah, because it's like, okay, well, or what could I have done better? That type of thing. What's the life lesson in that tragedy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because, you know, I look at myself, I go right back to it. I had every reason in the world to be, you know, walk around in this toxic, hate-filled bubble. And, you know, I've risen from that, you know. But it wasn't until I came into the knowing that there's a better way. I came into the knowing that I didn't have to be that, you know, of what you know, what I grew up in, you know, and walk around holding that and, you know, and lashing out in relationships and being triggered and, nah, I didn't have to be that. And so we all have choices. The thing is, many people don't know that the choice is even there, that's even available.
Applause to you for that, making that choice, taking charge over your whole life.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see, we got Daya says, God will always put you in position when it will come out. Yeah, absolutely, brother, absolutely. God will always, if you seek, and are open and receptive to what that is, what that looks like. Because a lot of us, stuff happens, you know, like shit happens. And we go into this funk like, oh God, the world is coming to an end, and oh my Lord, and why this and why that and why?
Hate.
And I'm looking at, no, well, what's the opportunity
Growth
in
flowers.
that? Because a lot of times, like say for instance, a few weeks back, I had a blowout on the freeway. Just got a vehicle out here, and I had a blowout on the freeway and totaled the car. And where we live at, it's near the city, but it's remote. So like transportation over here or public transportation in the meantime kind of sucks. And so anywhere we need to go, you know, at least, you know, for the next week or so until we stack our paper to go pick up another vehicle is, you know, it's, you know, Uber, Lyft, and it costs a grip to do that out here. And so, but it was like, well, what is the lesson in that? Or what was, you know, the universe slowing me down to, you know, to do? And it slowed us down to create the show.
Yeah. Which I'm thankful for.
Yeah, because had I been out every day, hitting it, flying, zipping back and forth, you know, keeping things together on that end, would have never had the time to really put together the show and develop it. And so, you know, what was the lesson in that? Okay, it's time for me to, you know, because I was feeling like, hey, you know, we really need to make a push in this space. We really need to make a push in this space. But then I get, for all those that don't know, I run a plumbing company as well. I would have we wouldn't have gotten to this point. We wouldn't be talking to you today because I would have always kept going, and I would have never had the time to really dedicate to developing the show like we're doing. Yeah, because it's like, okay, we got to grind, got to go, got to grind, got to go, got to grind, got to go, got to go, got to go, got to go. And there comes to a point where now I'm grinding and going for us in this space. We're grinding and going for developing this platform because the universe will put you in a situation where you're just doing busy work. Busy, and you miss your dreams. You miss out on your opportunity to really shoot for the stars because you're too busy trying to, you know, chase that carrot. And so at first, you know, I was like, dang, man, how could this happen with the car? You know, why is this happening right now? You know, I'm grounded, like, you know, but, you know, and it was like, okay, well, what's the lesson there? What can we do? How can we grow from that? Hey, you know what? We done got this whole plan laid out for this show, and to really switch our wellness center and holistic services online. It's always been on us to really launch a ministry to where we're actually out in the public and doing the work in this space day in and day out, without, hesitation, reservation. We own it. And having that situation happen with the vehicle was probably one of the best things that ever happened. Did it scare the heck out of me when it happened? Because I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? Yeah, at first, I'm not going to sit there, I was just like, I'm going and we just going to do it. It's like, no. And I had to meditate and really go deep within, like, okay, what's the next move? And it's like, hey, babe, let's do the show. She's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a wealth of information between us. And it's like, okay, it's time to present.
Time to present.
Time to present.
Because prior to that, our extent was whoever we saw in the office, our clients, which is cool. I mean, our one-on-one sessions are off the chain. But how many people can we actually service that way? How many people can we reach? And the numbers of people that watch the show, and it's growing on a daily basis, especially as people, we share information that resonates with, different folks and whatnot. And so we appreciate you all. And the purpose and the main thing is we want to create a community. Yeah, we want to create a community. Yes, no, you're welcome. You're most welcome, Charmaine. And then, the most highest. Y'all are okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you. Yeah. And so inner peace, it starts with positive self-talk. It starts off what we tell ourselves. It starts off with how we view us. Yes. Because you got to love you before you can love anybody else. Yes. You got to. And a lot of us, I didn't always love myself, And, it took a minute to really overcome. And, that shadow work is everything. Going deep in the shadows and realizing where these thought processes and, emotions, pent up emotions came from. And for the most part, that's, you have to tap into our inner child. Because that's where it normally starts. It normally starts in childhood. There's some things that happen to us as we grow older. But, those first 7 years, those teenage years, those early 20s when we started having, typically have like our first real meaningful relationships and whatnot. And, and that heartbreak and, and a lot of times people don't recover from that. Yeah, they don't. And then that transfers and it moves into their other relationships.
You got to scuba dive into your soul.
Into
your spirit.
Yeah. Yes. And so, inner peace is everything. Yeah, and because I know it seems like, we're talking about sexual dysfunction. Well, that was the original topic, and like, okay, well, peace, sexual dysfunction. The thing is, if you're not emotionally, there's multiple components to sexual dysfunction. The one everybody normally thinks about is the physical side. But the emotional side, the mental side of it, the spiritual component of it, that comes into play that will have an effect, in particularly on men, past trauma. When we talk about all those components, women typically more so than it being a physical thing. It's more of a trauma challenge that women experience, because with women, in generally speaking, the trauma they store it in their womb. All trauma is stored in the womb. And so when there's a lack of inner peace, in particular for females, it numbs them. It has a numbing effect. And so that's where Tantra comes into play, because there's certain things that, that we do in a Tantra space that will help to heal, help a woman heal her womb. And so let's see, Charmaine says, I had to ask the Most High Creator to show me how to love love the way I was created. Yeah, absolutely. Wait, hold on. It jumped up. Creator to show me how to love the way I was created to love. Absolutely. Him, myself, and others. Absolutely. Absolutely, Charmaine.
Yep, and it starts with self.
Hey, Genesis, how you doing?
Hey, boo.
Hey.
Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're talking about inner peace, and and what that, how that shows up. And so with women though, they typically because of the past traumas, are stored and lodged in the womb over time, especially usually if it happened to them relatively young. It usually starts to really show up in the when women hit like early 40s. And they're when they're supposed to be typically at their sexual peak, many switch into a level of being sexually dormant. Yeah, when I started really seeing the phenomenon of women that were celibate, not for religious purposes or not for spiritual growth, but because they just had no longer their sexual desire had diminished to a point where they were just like, nah, I'm cool. And I was like, wow, what is this? What's going on? And then as I started to peel back the layers during our consultations, that's when I found out a commonality. More often than not, it was because of past trauma that was stored in the womb, and it had manifested itself to the point where when they got into any kind of sexual situation, the act of intercourse, or even just being able to openly love another, a man or otherwise, they were numb. Yeah, numb, because of all the trauma that had been stored up and pent up. There's a disconnect. There's no feeling in various parts of her vagina and whatnot. You hear it all the time when you look at the statistics as far as like sexual satisfaction amongst women, and majority of the women, they're not, they don't enjoy sex. It's unfulfilling. Not to mention the typical sex act in the Western society, only the average is 2 minutes, but that is not enough time to enjoy it anyway. But we'll talk about that on Monday.
Monday or Tuesday?
No, Tantra Tuesday. That's when we talk about the spiritual aspects of just being, and just all things Tantra. Okay. And then, but Monday we'll talk about sexual dysfunction, and we'll lead into sexual enhancement practices and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that the numbness is something that many women experience, and there's a detachment from their womb, there's a detachment of their womb from the heart, and the heart from the throat, which is in that channel is how their energy flows. And to the degree that that's blocked, it inhibits a woman's ability to really be fully orgasmic and live in her full orgasmicness. Because when we talk about like, oh yeah, our relationship is juicy, our relationship is flowing, our relationship is, the way we are, the ebbs and flow of how we connect and are together, like we're celibate. We decided to wait until we got married or until we get married, which is, it's not too far away. We're working on that. And, but nobody would ever know that. Everybody, always, actually everybody always thinks we are. And that speaks to where we've been, we've only been together, 14 months in this lifetime. But I know that our souls have been intertwined, throughout eternity. And so we're just showing up for ourselves, now. And so that's where the familiarity between us comes.
At our best.
Yes. Yeah, and so the familiarity, because when we met each other back, March 5th of last year, it was like I already knew her. It was like, it was almost like, okay, well, it's good to see you. Like, because the spirits, it was like, boom, boom. It was an instant connection.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it was just all so familiar. And then as we developed our relationship and we got reacquainted on this plane, we've just been tighter than tight ever since. And our love has just grown and, to a point where, we're unbreakable. Mm-hmm. But that comes from the inner peace us both working on ourselves for a number of years to clear out all the clutter and the trash that led to us, removing those shadows, really digging in and really looking in the mirror and going into that self-development, that self-love,
focusing on self.
Yes.
And me, I chose to do it alone prior to meeting you. I was alone, not lonely. Lonely is something that's different, because I always say if you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. You should enjoy being with yourself. Yeah, so spend time alone, learn yourself, heal yourself, and attract what you deserve, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, because like attracts like. I know they talk about opposites attract, and that's usually a sign that you may be out of balance, because life always wants to bring us back into balance. And so when we attract, for the most part, like attracts like. We attract who we are. We're mirrors of one another. To the degree that opposites are attracting, usually that person's there to help us come back into existing imbalance. Because if you're so far to the right and then they're so far to the left, now you kind of meet in the center, because they help balance you out. Yeah, and so that's just something to be mindful of. Let's see. Sacred things, Deborah says, sacred things become common things. Yes, absolutely. And Dea says, let's see. Meeting my blood father showed me anointments and trauma are in both men and women. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Don't think I would have been able to heal had I not learned him. Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, no, it shows up. And so on the man side, for me, it showed up by way of erectile dysfunction. Yeah, because when I came into the knowing, I had suppressed all the memories of what happened with my mother growing up, and I didn't come into the knowing of that until, what was that, 2013? Yeah, 2013. I think I was like 42. Yeah, I was like 42, and so. Yeah, I didn't come into the knowing of that because I repressed and blocked those memories away. But they always showed up at different aspects in my life. And so once I came into the knowing of it, now I'm consciously knowing like, oh, this is what's happening, or these dreams or these nightmares that I would have actually were memories. And when I came into the knowing that, okay, this is not fake, this is some real shit, like, whoa. It jacked me up, especially on the molestation side of it. And so the molestation part that came along with it, and then it started to make me look at my past relationships or the women I had an affinity towards. Yeah, and so I always had this thing for cougars, mature women. And it was like, why not, why do I find, and then it hit me like, wait, what? And it, like, when I consciously understood why I had an affinity towards mature women, I was like, ooh. And then I felt this shame, or this like, am I messed, what's wrong with me? And, the thing is, it's what it was. And I had to deal with that. And I had to, I had to deal with that shame and the guilt, or the just that feeling of ugliness, like, like why? This is why, I had some, amazing relationships, with mature women and whatnot. Some, 10, 15 years my senior over time. But that's where it stemmed from. And then when I saw it hit me like that, I was just like, ooh, okay. So what does this mean about me? Well, how does this reflect upon me? And then I had to, like I said, forgive myself, for allowing it all to happen. As far as, whatever went on with my mom. Then forgive her. And once I forgave her, then I forgave my, the rest of my family. Because, I mean, they didn't know, but at the same time, when you have children, that's why it's so important, really be connected with, the extended members of your family. Because I found out a couple of years back that everything that was happening to me, maybe not the molestation part, because all my other cousins, are women or females, but the abuse was going on in everybody's house on my mom's side of the family. Mm. Yeah, they, and all of us thought the other one had it better. The other cousins had it better. They was like, oh, I wish Auntie such and such was my mama. Like, shoot, you don't know. Yeah, like no, it turned into a generational thing, and so that's why I said I had to forgive, my relatives, because this was a generational thing. And, it's like, well, how come nobody could help me? It was, shoot, everybody, that's because that was part of everybody's get down. That was the family secret. This was all going on in, each of our households, which got passed down to them. And so then I had to forgive my ancestors for passing this down. And then once I practiced that mindset of forgiveness, then I was able to start moving towards having that inner peace. Because if you holding on and harboring stuff and really, it may not forgiving folks. Don't forget. No. There's one thing. There's the difference between forgiving and forgetting. As like when you're holding on and you're to the past issues and you're not able to forgive. That's like eating poison and hoping that somebody else is gonna die. Because it's going to eat you up inside. It's going to tear your body up. It's going to tear you up mentally, tear you up spiritually, going to tear you up. It separates you from God. Yeah. Because that's it's all about that agape love. That universal, unconditional love that, and I know there's some folks that's hard to love out there. I'm not going to tell you. There's all pieces crazy.
There's easy, and there's hard.
Yeah, and in them folks, you got to love from a distance.
Right.
But holding on to that, they did this to me 10 years ago, and I'm still mad. And that's gonna kill you. Because you know what? People don't naturally hate or naturally dislike. You have to make yourself feel that way, to harbor that. And when it shows up in our bodies physically, it shows up as cancer. It shows up as degenerative diseases. It shows up as ulcers. It shows up physically. Every major pent-up emotion shows up and manifests itself physically at some point if you harbor it enough and you don't let it go. You don't process it. Let's see, we got another. What's up, babe? What you got something to share?
No, I mean it's mental. That is where it starts. And forgiveness, I love the way you put it. Mm-hmm. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to be hurt from it or by it.
Yeah,
to drink it.
Die, no, they're not gonna. You are dying. You are killing yourself doing that. Like, yeah, it's a slow death. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a fast death, depending on what else you're doing that comes along with it.
And on the day-to-day mental transaction to mental transaction, you can go as easily to a funeral as you can a wedding. You have that choice in each incremental moment. That's why it's called a train of thought. As it's going past, you have to sift through what's going past. Are you allowing it to go past? And sometimes you have to stop the train. Okay. Is this something to focus on? Is there something to release from that cart?
Yeah.
And if you look at it that way, if you look at your mind like that, it'll be easier to process, because there's a merry-go-round. So you have these thoughts, and if you continue on with these thoughts, it will just speed up. The negative, where you can have a positive one and have better, more positive outcomes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see. Deborah says, Jay, you are so courageous, and I'm thankful. Wait, it jumped. Where'd it go? Man, I can't wait till we switch over the system. In 3 weeks, we will have our studio set up downstairs, and I'll be able to do, and then pull up all the stuff and be able to respond like real quick and see it right as it's happening. Because on these phones, I love them, because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to be doing what we do now. But there's levels to it. I'm looking forward to going to the next level. So anyway, Deborah says, Jay, you sharing this is so courageous, and I'm thankful for you doing so. Oh, no, my pleasure. My pleasure. This will help some souls that may have similar things. I sure hope so. That's because, like, prior to, people that know me from back in the day really know that I'm not a vocal person. I don't speak much. I can sit up and be in solitude forever and a day and never say anything to nobody else again. And like, well, not you. I gotta talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but the old me could sit in solitude and be in my own little world forever and never say a word. I can go into public. I'm that cat that'll go sit in the corner at a restaurant and because and it was in a negative way. Now I can do that in a positive way because I love my own company. But before it was because I would isolate myself even when I was out in public and whatnot. And so me being forthcoming and speaking on it, and then holding all that shame in. And that's the thing. A lot of times, that shame that or something that I viewed as being shameful actually has, grown to become my testimony. And so I share it freely because you never know who could benefit from the lessons that you've learned. Yeah, as I used to be like, I ain't talking about that, no, and hold it in. And the thing is, for me, the more I speak on it, especially in a platform such as this, in a sharing teaching mode, it frees me even more. It helps. I heal a little bit more than I was the day before. And so it's I found out that it's therapeutic for me too.
So thank you for listening.
Yes. No, thank you for having an ear to hear. Yes, and we must break the lies, break the ties to it. Yes, we absolutely have to break those ties. Let's see. When we get to the point of forgiveness, Deborah says, when we get to the point of forgiveness, we actually come to the season of an easier time. Yes, we do. For yourself to begin to really, absolutely.
And you have to do it for you.
Yes.
Forgiveness is selfish.
Yes.
Choosing peace is selfish. Like, I don't care about anything else but me in this space. And peace is non-negotiable.
Yes.
Ever. I'm going to have it. Yeah. I have it. Yes. I am peace.
Absolutely.
Oh, I felt something.
Yeah. And I felt peace too. I look, something like that. You understand me? Yeah, that was time for stuff. My bad. Anyway, let's see. Dea says, I used to think healing and forgiveness means things can go back to how it was. But I'm learning sometimes and knowing when you have to keep yourself removed. Yeah, Dez. No, you hit the nail on the head, fam.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I love my family, but a majority of my family I love from a distance. Because, yeah, it's just some things that I've forgiven. I don't hold on to it. I don't harbor it. That have happened over the years, but at the same time, especially if that other individual that you're dealing with hasn't changed. Yeah, if they haven't changed. Now, if they're making strides to better themselves, I mean, like, shit happens. When we was young, you do stuff that you're like, dang, I wish I didn't do that. And they, really made amends for, what they've done, and they're not that person that they were back then. You can work towards that. But if that person is still just as toxic or even more toxic than they were before, yeah, I got to love you from a distance. I love you, but I got to love you over here. Because just because you've forgiven doesn't mean you have to forget, especially, and that's, from a protective standpoint.
Set your boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to have those boundaries. Can't allow them into that space because then you just turn into a fool. Yeah, you're forgiving fool. There's a difference.
Give it once, give it twice.
Yeah. And so you just, so then you set your boundaries. And yes, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, brother. Let's see. Deborah says, when you get to... Let's see. And then Deborah says, when we have trauma, we feel guilt anytime we begin to free ourselves. Yeah.
It's a process.
Yes.
It is a process.
Yep.
It's a journey worth sticking to, and we'll take that day. The universe agrees with us.
Yes.
Amen.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. When we have trauma, we feel guilt anytime we begin to fear ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then also you got others that do the same. So you got to be aware of them. As you move into a state of, being, the universe sometimes has a way of testing to see, are you really at peace? Yeah. And so, just be ready for it. I don't want to use the word attack, but be aware that, there's a possible challenge that could come about as you move towards, that state of being of inner peace. Yeah, but like I said, it all starts with the mind, positive self-talk. What do we tell ourselves? What have we internalized that, hell, I was called so many dumb motherfuckers and stupids and stuff, from my mom growing up. I thought that was my middle name, and that turned into self-talk, that destructive self-talk. Whenever I started making mistakes, dumb motherfucker. And I tell myself, man, you stupid. And be like, wait, nah, man, I'm brilliant. God made me brilliant in every way, shape, or form. Everybody has that energy. It has an inner genius about them that is, a gift from God that we need to share with the world. And so, but I had to catch myself before but it was so innate and natural that I was like, no, I had to reframe the way that, that I approach things and the way that I move in life, in the way, in that self-image, that negative self-image, I changed to a positive one. And then from there, that's when my life really started to change. Is it perfect? No. Am I still a work in progress? Yes. But guess what? Whenever those shadows show up, whenever some kind of negativity starts to flare up inside, I recognize it now and I cancel it out the minute that I get a feel for it. Hey, Nellen, how you doing?
Peace.
Yes, blessings to you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and so that negative self-talk, that's the number one thing, the first thing you should start with, and then move into a state of forgiveness and forgiving those around you that have harmed you or whatnot, that have actually helped to make you who you are today. Yeah, because actually, I mean, to be honest with you, you look at those negative situations. What do they say? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
And, you have to go through what you don't want in order to appreciate what you do want and deserve.
Yes.
I'm thankful for everything of the past, all of the diagnosis and everything. 'Cause it's like, okay, there's another side to this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good.
Oh, yeah, you great.
Oh, I appreciate that. I return it to you.
You're great.
Receive. Thank you.
No, greatness is in us all. And so it's just a matter of tapping into and believing that and really going for it.
And surrounding yourself with like spirits.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Pause. Surround yourself, even if it means you have to be
hitting your battery.
even if it means that you have to be by yourself. Honestly, if you have to be by yourself, to surround yourself with yourself and focus on your highest self,
yes,
be by yourself. And you will attract your tribe.
Yeah, and so I mean that's a big part of the platform that we're creating, the ministry that we're doing, the health and wellness ministry. The focus is to bring like-minded, create our village, and so that village doesn't necessarily have to be in your immediate space, but the modern day technology allows us to have that village across the planet as long as we got an internet connection.
Yes. Oh, where are you guys from? We're in Atlanta. Let us know where you're from, and then that's because we're talking to people all over the
yes,
all over. Let us know where you're from.
We in the A, but I'm learning sometimes when you have yourself remove some things. Yeah, absolutely, got to remove some things, Deborah. I used to think healing, forgiveness. Let's see. Oh, I can't wait till we get that new system. It's coming. I know. I'm speaking into existence.
Yes.
That's what I keep saying. I can't wait
looking forward. Yes, look forward to it.
Let's see. I'm looking. We got some responses that have come in. Natalie said, "Okay, Natalie's in L.A.
Hey, enjoy that beach.
Yes.
How's the weather out there now?
Charmaine is in D.C., but currently from D.C. No,
okay, wait.
Yeah, D.C., but currently in Ohio. We'll be in Ohio in July.
Oh, cool! I'm glad I asked that question. We can get to be nosy.
Yeah, Charmaine. Yeah, we'll be doing a community fair in Ohio. I think it's July 24th. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we're gonna be hot.
We are hot.
We come in hot.
And bring in the heat.
Madeline says the weather is lovely. Shoshana says South Georgia, 80 miles south of Savannah. Oh, what?
How close are you to the water?
No, she said she's south of Savannah. So yeah, she's on the coast. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
What beauty.
Yes. Shoot. Baltimore.
Be more.
Yeah, we got a lot of that.
Look at that. Look at all that love. Thank you for sharing where you're from, where you are right now.
Yeah, and so, the community is growing. And so, like I said, we're live and direct every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Right here on Fast, 7 miles from the beach. Oh, yes.
See?
Yeah, that's we just moved out here from Cali, so.
Get that iodine. We spoke about that yesterday.
Yes.
It had a really good response. Going to the beach, you're here and enjoy the iodine.
Yeah, so definitely we're looking forward to getting to the beach soon. Yeah. We'll be in Jamaica next month, and so we're doing at our resort space there with 420 Wellness, and so we'll be talking about love and relationships. The queen here will be doing the ear candling and iron foot detoxes there, and then I'll be doing the quantum tantra body work, and it's gonna be a blast. So, but that's nothing. But we will be in Ohio. I think it's the 24th, whatever that second to last weekend is, for a community fair. So we'd love to see you there. let's see, most highest willing. I hope to attend. Yeah, yeah. So as the details come out, we'll be sure to share that. Yeah. So what's up, baby? We good?
Yes, we are good.
Okay.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
We're good.
Queens first.
Show you right. Okay, so yes, I'm good, and I feel like we're good, and I have enjoyed the interaction with everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in, for staying on board for this time, and enjoy an amazing weekend. Make it a great weekend. The weather's getting nice out here, or nicer, and go out and enjoy it. We'll talk about what we did in the next couple of days, and enjoy peace.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about the peace.
Forever peace.
So next week, Monday, we'll be doing, we'll talk about sexual dysfunction on Monday and sexual enhancement, how to raise that bar and take it to the next level. Tuesday, we'll be talking about, that will be Tantra Tuesdays. As a matter of fact, we're guests on the Too Much Moxie show, so we'll be doing a collaboration and having the shows, because eventually, once our studio is set up, and it'll be within the next 3 weeks. And actually, the cool part is it'll be a studio/classroom, and because the goal is to start having classes here on site, we're building out the basement area to go on a bit to be able to support that. Now, that was the goal when we bought the house, was that we could actually utilize it as a residence and then also have a teaching platform there in office facilities. And so that'll be completed within the next 3 weeks, and we'll be live and direct from our own home studio. That's going to be off the chain. At that point, that's when we'll officially be switching over to YouTube. So just, but we still be broadcasting across multiple media platforms, but YouTube will be the primary hub for that. And so, but next week, sexual dysfunction, sexual enhancement, how to become a sexual god. Then we're talking about Tantra Tuesdays. And then we'll be going into the Detox series. If anybody is interested in jumping on that 20-day detox challenge,
Welcome.
Give us a call, reach out to us as soon as you can, so that we can talk about what kind of how you're going to go about doing that. So anybody's interested in doing that 20-day detox, because that starts with the 20-day detox starts on May 31st, so the day after Memorial Day, and it runs through the 19th. Yeah, and so that's going to be off the chain. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And so we'll have more information about that. Coming up, we'll be opening up the group this weekend, and then all the information will be disseminated through the 20-day detox challenge group. Oh, I said I want to. The 3-day fast was a blessing. Oh, okay, Deborah. Yes,
Yes.
Di says he's with it. Susanna says she's interested. Yes, okay. Absolutely. Okay. And so we'll be disseminating, putting that information out about the group. And then the group will be like the hub to any explanation, and everybody can tap in with any questions they have. Because the thing is, everybody's at different spaces, in their healing journey. And so it took a while for us to build up to, the levels that we detox at, as far as time and whatnot. The first part is being real with yourself and where you are. And what you have an affinity towards, because there's so many different ways to detox. There's so many different ways to fast. There's so many different ways to, go about beginning that regimen. And so the thing is, the number one thing to do is begin. Yeah. If you don't do nothing else, just begin. Get started. Get in that space. Get with other people that are already doing it, because a lot of times, and it's sad, when I first started, got into the detox, world of detox, it was just me. And, I was the only one in the house doing that, in a house full of people that was eating any guy, God knows that God knows everything else, and so it made it really hard. But it was baby steps. One step at a time. To the point where now we detox 4 times a year. We do a weekly 60-hour liquid fast from Sunday night at midnight until Wednesday at noon, and it serves us well. Because people are like, well, how do y'all do this and how do y'all do that? How do you maintain this and that? You taking 10,000 herbs and vitamins? Nah. It's become a lifestyle for us.
Transmute energy.
And so that fasting and detox regimen is probably the cornerstone of our health and wellness get down. Yeah, because it sustains us. It allows us. It's become habit. Because at first it was like, oh God, I gotta do this. Ooh, I'm starving. I'm sitting there waiting for the finish line. Ooh, can I? And, trying to sniff food. Yeah, it's crazy. Like all the stuff you go through when your body starts to go through withdrawals, and it is withdrawals because food, especially modern day food, they put so many chemicals and stuff in it. It's like a drug,
Yes.
And so it's like a drug withdrawal, especially if you got a thing for sugar. Yeah, the only thing more addictive than sugar is heroin. And you already, we all know stories of folks that are, recovering from heroin. I mean, you see it on TV all the time. And so, and recovering and trying to withdraw from sugar ain't no joke, especially if you got the parasites inside of your body that's craving it. So, but that's a whole nother story. We get into detail. So the end of the week we'll be touching on different ways of detoxing and how to really, and just preparing everybody for that, our detox journeys. And so we'll be detoxing from Jamaica, the second half of the fast. And the dope part is we'll be connecting with our celebrity chef. Our partners there in 420 Wellness are launching their celebrity chef series, vegan chefs. And so we'll be able to partake in some of that. Looking forward to partaking in some of that phenomenal vegan food from Chef Katie. Yeah, my man. Yeah, he puts it down. Yeah, Chef Katie. Yeah. So we'll be able to talk about. Hopefully, he'll be able to impart some vegan recipes on us. And he also has some books and stuff available. So we'll be able to cover the whole gamut. So anyway. That being said, have a phenomenal weekend. We love you all.
Yes, we do.
Peace and blessings.
Yes.
See you on Monday.
Absolutely. Peace.